Have you ever stopped to think that maybe you should be getting used to what real gunfights feel like?
Stonks.
That maybe you should be getting used to accepting loss and despair? Would you like a taste of what post-traumatic stress disorder feels like? Would you like to learn the correct response to a dozen armed to the tooth second story men right outside your door? I always wanted a real-time strategy survival game with realistic combat, and since there are none, we are going to make our own. And Rimworld is the perfect game for this, mainly thanks to the Combat Extended mod. But Combat Extended alone won't turn Rimworld into the nightmare that I have in mind. Now, bear with me. I have over 2,000 hours in Rimworld, and I've played it with all kinds of mods that you can imagine, and I still love vanilla the most. I know there are total overhauls like the Russian Hardcore SK, which are great, but we are going to make a light and completely game-changing mod pack. I'm going to show you a mod pack I spent 2 weeks improving to be really lightweight and feel like vanilla. What we want to achieve here only is for the avoid getting shot part to be hard and realistic.
Look at the top of his head!
And not bloat the game with redundant things and 15-minute loading screens. There are two things that stop Rimworld from being a true test of your Sigma grindset tactician skills. But before we start, keep in mind that we are going to turn Rimworld into a skill-based hardcore survival game that emphasizes tactics, preparation, trial and error, and overall much suffering. But all of this amounts to nothing if you are going to save scum anyway, so if challenges are not your thing, you might as well just skip this and go play on peaceful mode. That out of the way, the first thing we are going to change is the non-impactful and low-risk combat. In vanilla Rimworld, humanity has forgotten how to manufacture weapons, following millennia of government-imposed soy consumption. When man finally reached the Ancapistan utopia that is Rimworld, all he had was man boobs and Nerf guns. Seeing that the fauna was not so receptive, and that there were an unending number of death machines, that the sole purpose was to ethnically cleanse the human race, man found that his only resource was adapting his Nerf guns to fire Nerf bullets faster, in the hope that it would kill something. This is the sorry state of vanilla combat that, while forgiving, leaves you the player relying more and more on cheap tactics, saying that you can't really count on guns powered by hope and prayers to prevent getting your colony recolonized, triggering the innate save scan response. Well, what if we gave everyone on the Rimworld actual real guns that kill people dead? That's where the fun begins. And for this part, Combat Extended will take care of most of our sadistic needs by making sure that bullets behave how lead projectiles flying at 900 meters per second do, especially when they encounter bones and flesh. But also that pounds behave like people under stress of imminent death, which they will be now. In vanilla, cover just means that the chance of projectiles hitting the target were lowered. Combat Extended implements a new system of cover, based on actual body part protection, with heights and widths. Pounds will either be crouched or standing depending on what they are doing. In Combat Extended, it will be mostly the Pound's head that will be sticking out of covers. It also implements a real algorithm-calculated armor system, where projectiles either do not penetrate the armor, barely penetrate and do little damage, or penetrate fully and do full damage, and do blunt damage according to the impact, with a load of different ammunitions to choose from. The realistic projectiles, melee weapons, cover, suppression, and armor protection systems all work together to create a more tactical combat system that is much more fun. But the actual challenge begins when you start mixing this realistic combat system with some hardcore mods that complement it incredibly. What if raiders in Rimworld did not suffer from stage 7 dementia? Just imagine how insane combat would be if the AI was as capable as the modern artificial intelligence we have today. Wait, never mind, you don't need to imagine anymore, because the Combat AI 5000 mod. This is the first mod we are going to complement Combat Extended with. It is a complete marvel of modding made by the same creators of the performance mod Rocketman. Trust me, if you are going to use this mod, prepare to get completely shat on, even by the lowliest crackheads that come at your first days. In vanilla, you would be virtually unreachable if you made even a low effort kill box. Now, NPCs will do their utmost to end your life while keeping themselves out of danger, running from you if you try to melee them, and staying on the most advantageous range to shoot you, all while taking account of positioning and cover. They will avoid your genocide machines and bottlenecks. Kill boxes just became a thing of the past. Couple this mod with the No One Left Back and enemy self-preservation mods to ensure that your enemies will rescue their downed friends and leave the map if they are unable to continue combat due to injuries. Those two mods make combat slightly easier, but the game becomes so much harder overall, because you will be getting much less loot and prisoners in the end. And because Combat AI 5000 is installed, they will always think of the better option to retreat, even if this includes having to kill a few of your pawns. Melee combat in Rimworld was a shitfest of ganging up on people, or holding a narrow passageway so as to force 1 versus 3 combat. You may notice that with the CAI 5000 the NPCs are not as inclined to get in line to get chopped up by high-frequency swords from Metal Gear, but just in case it happens, and to make combat even more realistic, we are going to use the Melee Animation mod. The name does not give away much, but the mod adds actual duels that have to be fought between pawns, while also adding the possibility of takedowns and executions. As a bonus, you'll also be getting the dual spot, which allows your pawns to spar and increase melee skill. A way to improve melee was sorely needed in vanilla, and now there you have it. There are also some unrealistic aspects of the mod, which we will quickly fix. Disable the lasso and unique skills feature, because we don't want to turn Rimworld into
Fortnite.
Alright, after doing that, check the option that allows enemies to also execute your pawns, because why not? Execution is a feature that represents quick melee takedowns or moves that, despite the name, leave a pawn either downed, simply injured, or actually executed. And it all depends on the difference of skill, armor worn, and weapons used, providing an additional vein in our foreheads, as you can't always be sure if your opponent might simply end your pawn's life in the blink of an eye. Well, actually, you could predict if an enemy can execute your pawn based on his melee skill, but as you will see later in the video, you won't be able to.
Eu tô algemando o cara já morto no chão, Igor. Porque o cara morre tão rápido.
Oh, so much fun. I'm pretty sure this will amount to suffering levels you have never felt before. Now let's continue making your game more miserable. Now that we have made combat fun, and given your enemies a little bit more brain cells than the dozen that they had previously, we need to remove some of the cheesy game designs that make Rimworld too easy and predictable. The first thing being able to see the entire map at all times. You may have never thought of this, but many real-time strategy games have fog of war, and it is an essential part of combat design. You know what other games relish with Fog of War? Horror games like Darkwood. Why would your pawns be able to sense and predict everything around them? In Darkwood you can never know what is outside your house, and the Fog of War is so amazing. You felt afraid. You felt like your life was just a fleeting thing that could be taken from you at any time.
It's like I'm gonna kill you. Oh shit! Holy shit!
This is the feeling we are going for, but in Rimworld. The Combat AI 5000 mod I mentioned before partially takes care of this with its integrated Fog of War feature. And it works like a charm. Just turn it on in the mods menu. We also need the Silent Raids patch mod, which will make it so that raids don't warn you when the highwaymen enter the map. Couple this with the No Forced Slowdown mod and you will be completely oblivious to the fate Randy has written for your colonists.
Ah, teu pai nunca te falou que ele tinha que levar em
Now you will say, my pawns are dying all the time because they were outside when the raid came. And for this I answer, get good, LOL. But really, just keep dogs. You know, like people did back in the day. For the same reason. Or use some of the security features provided by the Combat AI 5000 mod. To finish this mad project, we also include the Combat Always Collides mod, to prevent you from going back and forth as you wish in single tile bottlenecks, and make formations actually matter. The Combat Effects for Combat Extended mod, which allows for bullets to go through people and even walls depending on the caliber. Just check if it is updated beforehand. The Layered Wall Destruction mod that makes it so walls get different stages of destruction, allowing your enemies to shoot you through your own walls as soon as they break some of it, making combat much more chaotic and your life harder, because you won't be able to hide indoors waiting for your enemies to eventually make an opening. The Combat Extended Important Ammo mod, which makes ammo expensive to craft and almost a currency. The Weapon Jams mod, which gives a purpose to the condition of weapons, making them more likely to jam the more damaged they are. The Combat Extended Aimbot mod, which makes it so that enemy pawns always shoot at you in the most efficient firing and aiming modes to effectively kill your pawns, while also giving you a gizmo to enable automatic selection of modes for your own pawns, with the same rules. In the same venue as the Aimbot mod, the Easy Switch weapon for Combat Extended mod will give you a gizmo to equip ordnance you are holding in your inventory. It is bug-free and better optimized than its counterparts. We will also be using the Dynamic Weapon Cooldown mod, which makes the cooldown of how fast your pawns can aim and shoot based on the manipulation of the pawn. The Hidden Enemy Bio mod makes it so that you can't see the skills of your enemies, forcing you to be more careful and making combat even more unpredictable, as you will be unaware that the flake-deprived hobo holding a awful quality knife is actually a planet-known master of knife assault, straight from the city of London. And when someone dies, which will happen often, what happens in vanilla is that they drop everything they are carrying, like a pinata. And to fix this we are using the non-Unopinata mod, which prevents equipment from dropping on death. This also makes the game more realistic, since you will have to manually strip which items you want from the dead bodies. The Rangefinder and Ground Targeter mods will allow you to see the range of weapons more intuitively, and target where you want to shoot specifically, instead of having to always shoot at an enemy pawn, allowing for more tactical flexibility. The Field Administer mod allows you to inject downed pawns with any substance without having to take them to a bed, allowing you to give your pawns the incentive they needed to stop whining from a few bullet holes in the chest and get back up. And we pair this one with the Remedies mod, which gives us an ample selection of medicines that were lacking in vanilla, especially ones that are heavily used in conflicts like the painkiller pills and the overclock injection, which is analogous to adrenaline. And since your pawns will be downed with a few limbs less than most of the time, we will also include the caseback mod, which allows for more than one person to carry a downed pawn at a time, greatly increasing rescue time and allowing for tactical retreats. And all these changes would be of little difference if we did not fix a big fault in the game's mechanics. In vanilla Rimworld, your prosthetics can't be damaged, and giving prosthetics to a pawn reduces his total health. The Medical System Expansion 2 mod fixes both of these problems. Finally, the Just Leave Already mod will create a leave zone in the border of your home map, which allows for any pawn going over it to leave the map without having to form a caravan, identical to the leave zone in the base raiding and conflict maps. This allows for a much more dynamic and open world-like gameplay, which really enhances the feeling we are going for. I have made a mod pack in Steam with all these mods and so many others that neatly complement themselves, including all-around more realistic sounds for combat, pawn placement and physics, a lot of combat immersion mods, a better variety of balanced, vanilla-like weapons made for combat extended, more immersive ambience and graphics and better game performance, all in a bunch of different mods. If you want to play it, just subscribe to everything and use Rimpi to order everything if you are using any additional mods. I recommend playing with the mods that I have included only, to get the feeling I have managed to achieve, of a hardcore survival game that makes you understand how sorely you need to evade the... I hope you have an amazing experience like I did. It took me weeks of research and testing to come up with this mod collection. And the Anomaly DLC is right around the corner, so enjoy the mod pack and share this video with your friends while the mods are still up to date. If you are like me and like hardcore challenges, with these mods you will be set to have the most amazing time in the Rim, and the hardest tactical game you have ever played. Trust me. I recommend playing the mod pack on Losing is Fun with Cassandra, which I will be doing in my next playthrough series. But any storyteller will do, and Randy is still my favorite. Be sure to like this video if you appreciate the idea, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see my suffering on my own mod pack, which I will be uploading very soon. Goodbye, so long, very well.